The scoreboard says 2 losses. I'm thinking, gosh, I don't think you played that badly. Am I right?
No, that's a good observation. I think our team, I think we're the youngest team in the CCHA, one of the youngest in college hockey. So there's going to be some ups and downs and growing pains. So all you're asking is habits and systems, but do it with effort and competitiveness. I thought our guys did a really good job against some really good teams. And you know what? You can look at the shot clock at one thing, but if you look at the quality of play and the number of quality chances, it's a little tighter than you think, like you said. And playing on the road, it's our first game of the year, our first game on regulation ice sheet. Uh, I like probably four of the six periods, and the areas that I thought we could have did a little bit better. Discipline was number one. We talked about that as a team. And then we got to find a way to create a little bit more offense when we do have the puck. And that takes time. We're a young team. It's not easy to score at our level. It's just not. And we talked about that. You got to get to the interior part of the ice, got to get to the hard areas, you got to get bodies there. And, that's something obviously we discussed yesterday and had a real good practice with that. But that's a learning thing and that's a game thing. All you can do is try to rep it out in practice the best you can. Um, the positives, I thought both goaltenders played well. That was nice. Um, Made some changes to our lineup on Saturday night, put some guys in for their first game. Thought they came away passing the test. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And absolutely do you want to win, but it's about the process of continually get better. And we talked earlier when I talked to you guys, it is a tough schedule. This is going to make us better in the end. As we use these games to continue to get better and grow, it's really going to help us. And our guys, we talked, I think, after Saturday night, is as young as we are, there's not one of our guys that have won at this level. Not one. So that's a learned trait over time. How you have to win is hard. And I think these are the lessons we're learning. These guys are good teams. They play hard. They play the right way. But we're right there, right? We're still growing. I mean, it's the same story we told you guys last. We pulled a goalie 4 times already in 4 games. We don't want to do that, but we got to give it a little bit more, get a little bit better, and find out what it takes to win ultimately. And you got to continue to play these games and continue to learn from it and focus on the next game.
You get another ranked opponent in Colorado College this weekend here.
Yep.
At the Berry. How do you prepare for these guys, and what's the feeling amongst the entire team? Get ready to come home here for their home opener.
Yeah, I think our guys are real excited about it. And our guys, you know what? We talked about our focuses. Okay, let's learn. Let's move on to the next game. And yesterday's practice was highly energized, highly competitive. Right back at it. We'll be in the Berry Event Center for the first time. I think we know CC well. We played them last year. They did lose a lot, but the way they play the game is fast. They're big. They got some younger guys up front, and we're going to plan for us to get better. Obviously, we have a plan in place how to play against them and tweak some things. But overall, we're still concentrating on how do we get better. And, we want to be a tough team to play against, not make it easy in the other opponent. We want to be on the attack, defend hard. And as always, we want to be good on special teams. And if you could do that, that should allow you a better chance to win some hockey games. But they're good, real good opponent. I think they're 3-1 right now. They're fast. They're feeling good about their game. And, we've just got to come out and put 60 minutes together and have a good start.
Coach, is it a relief to maybe be at home for these next 2 weekends and not have to travel? And, you're here and there. And
That was a lot of travel. We went from Minneapolis. We took a plane to Boston and busted another 3 hours. But you know what? That's part of being in the UP. There's lots of travel. And for us, with so many new faces, you could do a lot of team bonding there and find out more about yourselves. And we come home for whatever it was, a day or two, and back in the bus down to Ohio State, another great opponent. So you get some team bonding, you get to know one another. You like I said, you learn what it's going to take to win and have success. And to me, a lot of it comes down to effort, the structure piece, competitiveness, and execution. And we're still working our way through that.
Searching for the right words. Communication is important in a lot of sports. In hockey, I would think it would be on defense. But how much more important right now that you're not getting the goal scoring you want is communication, or at least knowing where one person's gonna be relative to just being on the doorstep or nearby.
You know what? That's very observant. It's one of the most important things and the hardest things to coach. And where it changes is where you're, in my opinion, when you get old, meaning you're loaded with juniors and seniors, there's a lot more communication. And we battle that every single day with our kids. It slows the game down. It lessens the chances of making mistakes when you do communicate. And we harp on our guys, and they'll tell you, I harp on them a lot. They communicate more when they're on the bus playing some type of game on the bus. When we're having our team dinner, they communicate a lot more. In fact, I recorded it to say, why don't you guys talk like this on the ice? Why aren't you this loud when you're playing these games on the bus? If you do that on the ice, it's going to allow your growth to take off exponentially. So that is, in my opinion, one of the hardest things to do with young kids making the transition. When I say young, both freshman and sophomore, we have to talk more on the ice. So very observant, Mike. And I think any coach will tell you and it's harder in my opinion because you got bubbles and you got masks, and some of them, they don't always wear the mouth guards. So it's really, really tough to hear them on the ice. But you got to do it. You got to do it. And some guys are better than others, and you need everybody being able to communicate on the ice. And it makes things a lot more easy to play defense, play offense, all parts of the game.
Coach Oliver gets in on the weekend and gets named Rookie of the Week for the CCHA. To have young players getting that honor this early in the season, what does it just mean for the growth of the program for you to have guys that are young that are getting recognized for performances?
Yeah, I mean it's just another indicator. I think your staff did a great job of recruiting, and we talk about last year was difficult, but it put us probably 2 or 3 years behind recruiting wise. And you get the guys that we're getting in right now performing at a pretty high level. And Ollie did that, but he set himself up for success by how hard he works in practice along with the other goaltenders. They're highly competitive, they work, they support each other. And when I pulled Graham's, it was more of a mental break. He stopped a lot of rubber. And I thought, okay, here's an opportunity just for this guy everybody's got to be able to play at some point in time, in my opinion, because you never know how they're going to perform till they get game action. And I think he went in and he stopped all 8 shots and looked good. And I thought he earned the opportunity to start. And he went in and played outstanding. He gave us a chance to win. And he didn't look like a rookie in there. He was calm, cool, collective. He's really good at puck handling. He made a couple of mistakes early, but those were his first touches on the puck. But he made some big saves, some real big saves to keep the game tight. And I think that's an example of giving a kid an opportunity that's deserved it. He was excited about coming here and being a Wildcat, and he's earned it and took that opportunity. And it's going to make us tough to make a decision on Friday here. But it's a nice position for us as coaches to have 2 goalies that are performing at a high level right now this early in the season.
Well, the first half was wonderful. I mean, yeah, it'd been nice to get another touchdown always. But in the second half, the offense put the defense in a bad position and you couldn't get out of it.
Sure. Yeah, I thought the third quarter was really tough. That's where we really just kind of lost the momentum and just couldn't really find a way to get back, into a groove. I thought fourth quarter was okay, but that third quarter really hurt us. But yeah, that first half was a high level of football, and I thought, really, we did a great job defensively. I thought of really just playing physical and really flying around, and then. I loved what we did offensively there at the end and being able to just really, find a way to put the ball in the end zone right before halftime and, just really created some confidence and some momentum there. And then, clearly coming out at halftime, we just didn't respond well in that third quarter.
Coach, what do you like about Trevor's progression? It's tough to handle an offense and put it on your shoulders.
For sure.
He's been playing a different position, but
Yep.
also practicing with cues. But
Yep.
now he's in that position. What do you like about what he's done? And
Yeah.
What does he need to do to keep going?
Yeah, I've said it before. I think, his competitive spirit really helps him to grow quickly. I think, just with having him last week, just from Monday through Friday, he took a lot of things and just tried to keep getting them better and try to keep studying them. And I mean, he's just really hungry to go out there and learn it and do it better and better all the time. And so I just think his coachability is extremely high. It allows him to improve quickly. And yeah, he's a guy that I think will have just a good opportunity to continue to grow at a rapid pace. And so that's kind of the thing that I like in terms of just what he brings to the table. I like that he can do both, right? He can make plays with his legs. We saw that on that 3rd and 18 play, and he was able to get us down there to the 1.5 yard line so we could punch it in. And I think he has the ability to throw the ball too. We got to continue to get him more comfortable in the pass game. But I think that was an important game for him to be in a big time atmosphere against a really good opponent, and give him that experience. And moving forward, I think he'll be able to take it and run with it now.
Was the decision to put Austin Gordon in towards the end of the game just something maybe relieving Turkoff a little bit? There was just kind of get him some reps. So what was the decision?
We had to. Trevor was dinged up a little bit, and yeah, we had to pull him, and I wasn't able to go and finish the game, so we had to put Austin in, and thought Austin did a really great job for being a kid who played 8-man football last year. I mean, he's out there and battling with the big boys, and I thought he looked really good doing it. I thought he made some really good decisions, made a couple of nice throws, and hats off to him. I thought he just responded really well to it for a young guy being thrown in the mix there.
For sure. And talking about the weekend, what did it mean, before the game to be able to just kind of disconnect from that the night before the dinner, and the jersey retirement at halftime, and just the whole the weekend? What did it mean for you and your guys?
Yeah, well, Saturday actually was maybe the most relieving day for me. I felt like leading up to that, there was something every day that was eventful in terms of the 1975 reunion. But I tell you, it was fantastic. The buzz around it and just having a lot of those guys back, I think, created a sense of pride, and you could see it on their faces. You could tell it by talking to each of them, and just being able to see them at few different events it was really neat. And then obviously seeing Coach Mariucci's jersey and what that meant to him, and just how he portrayed that represents a whole team and what they went through back then. And for our team to experience that too. Our team was at the banquet on Friday night, and for them to hear some of those stories and understand a little bit more about the tradition and what took place in that turnaround. And I think it was very valuable for just our current program to be able to connect with all those guys, and then having them back was great. It was great to be able to see them celebrate what they did 50 years ago, and I thought it created a great environment too. When you looked up in the stands there on Saturday night, that home side was filled, and so that was a really fun atmosphere to play in front of.
On the road this week, Coach, against a team that you took to overtime last year.
Yep.
What do you know about them? I mean, how hungry are the guys this week? Thinking in terms of last year 1 or 2 plays and it's a W instead of a loss.
Sure. I think the greatest thing about our team is just the resilience factor in the way that we just come every day ready to do more, ready to learn, still having a great attitude. Our team is just extremely resilient in how we've been able to handle week after week not getting the result that we want, right? And we talked last night in team meeting. You're playing a high-level college football game. That first half versus Grand Valley, that's a playoff type of atmosphere and opportunity. And, I'm not talking that we're getting in the playoffs, right? I'm talking if you ever want to envision yourself being a playoff team or getting to that level, which we do, right? That's got to be a vision for all of us. You got to be able to know, that's what it's like. And that's what it's like to play against a high-level opponent in competition. And so to be able to put ourselves in that situation with a great first half of football, still not getting the result that you want, you still have a group that shows up every single day and just comes back ready, positive, hungry to learn, and just ready to get after it. And so, obviously, the message this week is, we have to make sure that we're in a different environment, understand that there's going to be a different sense of the external factors. There's not a whole bunch of alumni that are going to be coming back and, having a big weekend like we did last weekend, with that type of events. But hey, we got to go on the road and we got to focus on ourselves. We got to focus on what we can do better. We got to make sure that it's all about how we play, not who we play, and making sure that we're as hungry as ever to put our best week of football ahead of us here.
In days gone by, the run set up the pass. Maybe more nowadays, the pass sets up the run. What do you do this week against a team that I think you can beat just like last year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. Our pass game has to afford us opportunities to loosen the defense up and, create a little better running lanes probably. And I think we have ways to do that. Yeah, I think, a big part of our offense, though, is we've got to be able to make sure we take what the defense is going to give us. And so, sometimes it might not seem this way, but when you're running the ball, there's certain indicators that we are looking for that are going to help spring big runs and try to get us to set up different plays and to put the defense, in different positions where they have to defend one thing or another. And so I would say we're going to stick to our plan with making sure that we take what the defense gives us. We won't know how they'll align until we actually get there in game, but we have answers already built in, and we certainly need to be able to, throw the ball if that opportunity presents itself too.
Coach Roosevelt, just in their last 2 weeks, has given up the second most of the most points in the GLIAC.
Mm-hmm.
How important on the road is it for you guys to start offensively good, get on the board, especially like you said, in an environment where you're not going to have the comfortability of your factors being at home?
For sure. I think it's an opportunity for us to put together a lot of the things that we've been learning and a lot of things that we have or haven't done as well as we need to, and we got to put together a full 4-quarter game. I think you see that coming out of Saturday night is a 4-quarter game is what we have to keep in mind. We got to start fast. We got to finish stronger. We got to make sure that we keep momentum in check all throughout the game. We got to make sure that we master the middle 8 right before half, coming out of half. Those are really big opportunities. We got to eliminate the turnovers. I mean, there's just so many things that you would say, man, we got to put together a whole full 4-quarter game and for us to be successful here. And so that's really the goal. I mean, we want to be able to get better in all those categories, and we want to continue to strive to put our best foot forward out there, and this Saturday is a great opportunity to do it.
Okay, one superfluous one that I noticed while I was shooting. On the punt that I thought should have been downed at the 1, what kind of an excuse did they give? What kind of an excuse did they give you?
The rule, right, is as long as the ball doesn't break the plane of the goal line, it still could be downed at the half-yard line, the 6-inch line, whatever that is, right? So the Grand Valley player was standing in the end zone, but the ball did not break the plane of the goal line, so the ball was still placed at the half-yard line. Yep.
I'm thinking of the NBA.
Correct.
Your foot rule, which apparently does not apply.
Sure. That's right. No, it's not the plane of glass that if you break the glass, then it's an automatic touchback. If you keep the ball out of the end zone, then that's okay. You can down it. Well, that's the NFL rule, right? You can be standing in the end zone like the Grand Valley player was and still keep the ball out of the end zone and still down it. No, he was standing in the end zone, but that's okay. He can do that.
You start the season off, going on a big losing skid, and now we're starting to heat up a little bit here. Where do you kind of measure where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, I think we're just trying to base how we're doing from how we feel in practice. We go into it every day expecting to get 1% better, and we have the girls write on our whiteboard what they want to get 1% better at, and we're focusing on little victories right now. And I think that was the difference between the beginning of the season and now, is we kind of went into it expecting all these wins because obviously Northern Volleyball is successful, and we had a great year this last year, obviously missing some pieces, but still have a great team. And so we kind of went into it, not necessarily expecting things, but definitely wanting to win. And then when that wasn't happening, we kind of reevaluated and we're like, okay, what do we need to change, especially in practice as coaches? And that was a focus on those smaller victories. And I think that's what we've been doing. The girls have been working very hard again on just getting 1% better every day at one given thing. And now here we are after 6 straight wins, and it feels great.
Does crossover come at a good time?
I think it does. I think right now we're kind of experiencing like what it feels to be playing Wildcat volleyball, and we acknowledged that after both matches this weekend. And so I think going into this weekend, we have a pretty good idea of who we are and how we want to play. And that expectation, obviously we're facing 2 really great teams, but the expectations for us don't change at all. And so I do think the crossover does come at a good time. I think our girls are feeling good right now, again, especially after 2 huge wins this weekend, but also after 6 straight. And so I think we're in a really good spot. And I hope it carries through the weekend for sure, even despite the fact that we're playing some top-ranked opponents in the region. I think it'll be good for us.
As a former player, you've been on the side of the Michigan Tech rivalry. How did it feel as a coach, especially in a hostile territory?
Oh my gosh.
Take it all the way to the 5th set, too.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of deja vu. Always some tight matches over at Michigan Tech for sure, just with all the outside elements and things. But I was so proud of our girls, especially like having a younger team. Not to say I was a little bit nervous going into it, but just because we'd had some people that haven't experienced that before, especially on the court. And I was pleasantly surprised with how our girls did. And I think that is the most composed I've seen our team this whole year. And for it to be in a setting like that, like you really can't ask for more. So it was great. And yeah, definitely feels good to win after taking some L's there as a player. So
Liesl Haugen, Defensive Player of the Week. How big of a boost is that to your offense? You got to pass the ball to get it set to get an attack.
Right.
How big is that to have somebody on back line that's 38,
Yeah.
36?
Oh my gosh, it's huge. And when Liesl was injured, not to say anything about the players that came in and replaced her in that moment, they did a great job, but Liesl, especially from a serve receive standpoint, is our gal. Like, she controls our serve receive, and especially with someone like Kenzie Gruner, who's also excelling on the floor as well, we want to get her the ball, and like you said, the only way to do that is for us to be able to pass at a serve receive in defense. And so shout out to Liesl. I think she's really commanding that backcourt, and because of it, we're able to feed our middles, which were both super successful this weekend. And then also after that, we're also able to run different people on the pins too. Just good passing opens up everything. And since Liesl's been back, especially, we've seen that in serve receive in particular, like I said. So it's been awesome, and she's been amazing physically, and she's just so mentally strong. So we love having a person like her back there.
You mentioned that you have some big opponents coming up in this crossover, top ranked opponents in the region. So having your younger players go up and play in a hostile environment like Michigan Tech and, bringing it all the way to the 5th set, does that kind of set the tone going into this crossover, maybe even, bigger games down the line as the season goes on? Yeah,
I think it totally does. Now, like I said, that now is our expectation, because we've proven that we can do it and perform in those environments. And so now going into a weekend again where it's like our freshmen, for example, haven't experienced anything like this, it's like, okay, well, we know what Wildcat volleyball is, and so when in doubt, we're just going to go back to that. even if it is against a Quincy or a Findlay, we know who we are. And so as long as we're sticking to that script, us as coaches, we are perfectly happy. And so I think that is certainly the goal going into the weekend, especially after huge wins this last weekend.
Is there a formula rhythm to, hey, the ball comes over the net.
Mm-hmm.
We get a setup. Is there a pace to how you guys want to attack, or something that you guys have found that works? Because sometimes the ball's over the net, you guys are immediately attacking.
Yep.
Sometimes you're kind of winding it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think kind of like I mentioned earlier, it really all revolves around our passing and how our serve, receive, and defense is. And we obviously want to get the balls to the middle. So right now that'd be Kenzie and Emmy Gulak. They've been doing amazing. But with that said, after we go middle, that opens so much up on the pins. And so that is also a large part of why our pins were doing so well this weekend. And saw so much success is because our middles were also seeing success. There's really like no hitter. I mean, obviously Kenzie's been kind of the one in recent weeks, but there's no hitter that is like ruled out of our offense. Like we're always wanting to set anybody. And that's different than in years past. We've had like one or two people that were typically like at the top of the kills list. But now it's like very balanced, and we love it that way. And it just makes us 10 times harder to scout and play against, because you never know who's going to go off at any given time. So it's been amazing.
you just kind of gotta push last one aside and move forward. I mean, you're well in the conference now, and points matter. It's frustrating. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
But you got games that you now have to go out and get.
Yep. Yeah, certainly. It's tough to drop points. And I think you're okay with it. If a team really is better than you can say, okay, like they were better than us on the day. And that didn't happen. We're watching back film, and we had more chances even than what the game showed in the moment. And we just didn't take advantage. But we picked up a lot of good areas. We put them under a lot of pressure. It didn't come off that game. It's really about building on a lot of the good things we saw and putting the ball in the back of the net. That's what the game came down to, right? So moving forward, I think we'll see a lot of similarities in team shape of the two teams we play this weekend. We know we can break that down. We have to continue to do that and at a high level. And then it's all about that killer instinct. We've got to have kids that want to score. And I think right now we're a little bit scared to take on that responsibility. We talked about it after the game, right? You have to have people that are willing to take on responsibility in big moments. And that's what was lacking on Sunday. And so hopefully moving forward, we put another good week of training in, and we get ready for two huge games for us. As you rightly said, points matter. They always have, but when you drop points, they matter even more. And so, yes, our eyes are ahead. We can, again, I've said this before, we can be disappointed. We can be, upset about what's previously happened. But if we can show up on Friday and put in a good performance, we put ourselves back in the conversation for top four and climb in the conference standing. So one day at a time, one game at a time. But I have a lot of faith in this team. They're a resilient group. They're a hardworking group. We'll bounce back. We'll be all right.
And Coach, we've seen those goal scorers this season in Hannah Costello and Madison Bilvia and Irene Killinan. Is it a message to them directly? We know you can do it. We need you to go do it, right? And the team's going to be behind you.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think, we've had girls step up in different moments. I think we have more than just those three that can step up and score goals for us. We actually have quite a few that haven't gotten on the score sheet this year that are pretty consistently dangerous in training. How do we get those girls going? Sometimes it's about getting that first one. But the way to go about it is to start with your mindset. You have to want to be a goal scorer. And that's a really hard thing if that's not what your mindset is. It's not easy to score goals if you're not thinking about it constantly. You're not trying to do that constantly. So yeah, with Hannah and Billy, who are typically our highest shot getters, our most dangerous players, absolutely it's going to be a personal challenge to them. But it shouldn't just be on their shoulders. This is a team responsibility. And so the message to the team is whoever wants to step up, do it. And it can be 6 of you, it can be 12 of you. But we have to have some consistency and having at least 1, 2, 3 that show up every game and are going to be the difference maker for us. And I think, we looked around on Sunday and we had lots of girls that could have been the difference in the game. and it ended up having none be the difference in the game. So, this weekend training, we'll be hitting the back of the net a lot. And that's the message, right? You score however you can. It doesn't matter who scores. If our team comes out on the right side of the game, we're ecstatic.
You get another look at Saginaw this Friday. I think we all know what happened last time.
Yeah.
What's been kind of look at the film on them?
Sure.
And then on top of that, you get another look at a very physical, I think is the way we put it last time with Davenport. So, how do you prep for these two teams, especially like you said earlier, in a really important half of the season?
Yeah, I think, seeing them recently, I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprises. I think they know us and we know them, both teams, really who's going to be better on the day. And so for us, we saw that we can break both of those teams down. Can we go out and do that again? Can we match the intensity of those first couple games? Can we eliminate some of the mistakes that we made in both of those games? But I think, both teams are going to be hungry for points. The table's really tight. Saginaw's one game ahead of us. And so I think that for us, it's keeping our heads on straight and understanding we've got to show up again and play one 15-minute segment at a time. And if we can build on those, we'll be all right. But in terms of preparation, we carry on with what we're doing. We're not changing anything about our preparation. That's been very consistent, and I think the girls have to trust that what we're doing is working. Maybe it's not always ending up on the scoreboard, but anyone who watched the game on Sunday can see that we controlled the game for the most part. That's what we need to go in and do against Saginaw. You put in a few goals, we're having a totally different conversation, right? So I think before we look at Davenport, we look at Saginaw and go, how can we be successful in that game? And I think it's absolutely possible. They're a good side. Obviously, they've had some good results this year. We're going to have to show up and play a full, good 90 minutes.
I think I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about Irene Keelan. I mean, she took quite the shot. I don't even know what it even was that ended up, getting her busted open on Sunday. But then I think I mentioned on the broadcast later, it was like, what an absolute warrior!
Yes.
To come back in.
Yes.
What's her status? I mean, it was remarkable to watch on Sunday.
Yeah, Irene is rock solid. Just a little collision of heads. I think ultimately it was teeth that caused the gash in her forehead. Fortunately for her, I think it was more of a cut than anything, that could have been brain trauma, which is good. So she is, I saw her yesterday and she's fine. Obviously has a cut that she has to deal with, but she's ready to go. Nothing's going to keep that kid off the field. And you're right, warrior is the perfect word for her. She came off, and how quickly can you get me patched up to get me back in the game? And it's not about Irene. She wants to do that for her team. She has an amazing mentality about things, and she'll give everything. And we clearly saw that. And that's just a picture of her, but a picture of how a lot of our girls view each other in the game and the intensity that they have. So I'm really proud of her. She could have said, yeah, I need to sit, or it could have been a lot worse. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And, 5 minutes later, she was ready to get back in there. And I think the first action she took when she went back in was to head the ball. And she didn't blink, right? She didn't blink. So good for her. She's special. And Warriors, right? That's the spirit that, kind of encompasses our team, and she's a really good example of that.
Well, we start with, I'll just start with Friday's game.
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, what an atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, especially against such a great program in Saginaw, the year that they've had. It just kind of take me through what it meant to you and what it meant to your guys to play in such a great atmosphere like that and get the job done.
Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic. I think the community came out and everybody was up for it. Certainly our guys were, and it was a special day. That's, I think, a day we've been looking for a long time. It's only one day in 16. Like we're one game at a time. So we've obviously moved on from there because we played on Sunday. But just to circle back for a few moments, I think it was what we've been looking for. Just a tough, gritty win against a good team and a team we haven't beaten in a long time. So I think it was special, and our guys rose to the challenge. And then I think it was an even game at 55 minutes when we got the red card. I mean, we had two chances to go up 2-0 before we went down a man. And then our guys played in a 35-minute power play against a ranked team and didn't concede and won the game. So I think that's really special. It shows a lot of character for the guys, and it was awesome, you know. And I think we paid for it on Sunday. I think the guys had some really heavy legs because of it, but you know, in the end, it tells our guys they can do it, and if they put their mind to it, they can actually win this thing. So one game at a time, but it was a really good day, fun day, great energy from the community, and I think that's what we needed.
And now you get to do it all over again against the same two teams on the road.
Yeah.
So what's the message now? I mean, do you know if you can get it done?
Yeah, I think
How
it's
do you finish this time?
yeah, it's man, it's a weird thing to play teams back to back like that. You know, and we had the advantage of being at home. Now we're on the road, so I think the message is the same as we've approached every road game. Is you know, stay in it, take your chances, be smart on the set plays, and I think it's going to be exactly the same. You know, our mentality this week is really to recover because we have this long stretch away. I don't think we change anything. There's nothing to change. You know, it's just about getting healthy and getting right and putting your best foot forward. You can win, you can lose. We know that, but we certainly know we can win. And you know, Downport's a tough, gritty team. Friday night is going to be tough on their surface, football field and turf. So those are always challenges. And then we've got a rematch with Saginaw, and they're going to be coming for us. So they'll be up for it. And they know it, but they'll be up for it. They know they're coming for us. So it'll be a fun weekend, and hopefully we can get the job done.
We've seen a lot of guys on the field this year get minutes.
Yep.
And be able to have success on the field. Is this weekend a time to manage minutes?
I think so. Yeah, we're talking to the staff today. I think we're going to have to do a better job of rotating guys in just to. No one wants to come off the field. You know, nobody on my team when they get subbed off is excited about it. I think you want players that want to play. So I have no problem with them being disappointed when they get taken off. But I think they have to realize this weekend that for us to make it through the next 5 days, 3 straight away games. We've got to rotate guys and use our depth to our advantage, and we have to do that starting on Friday. So, yeah.
Jumping back a little bit, when you're sitting on the bench or standing.
Yeah, sitting not very much, but I've tried to sit more this year, though. I don't know if that's true.
When you see or maybe anticipate that their goalie's going to mess up, like Saginaw's did a little bit, I mean, he miskicked it. To have somebody right there.
Yeah.
I mean, how long did you stay on the chair? Did you not, or were you not on the chair to be?
I was right there. I saw it. I was at the front of the bench. It's part of our defensive mentality. It's just when one goes, we all go. And I think once Ian started to press that ball, it triggered Luca to also join in. And you know, when you do the job, lucky things happen sometimes, and we were in the right place at the right time. So. Yeah, it's part of our mentality is just go, go, go. And if you're shooting, if you're pressing, we all go together. And that's where we saw some of our problems on Sunday is that we were so tired that when guys were moving forward, the guys in the back weren't necessarily in midfield closing that space. And so they were able to find space in between the lines with second balls. But when we were fresh on Friday, they were right there. So Luca did a great job. Obviously, the finish was phenomenal. But the recognition of, hey, one person's pressing, that means we all got to go and we got to join in. It can't be one guy on an island, and I think he was able to be rewarded for that moment there. So.
Is that what I said? He would be nice in that stuff.
Yeah.
It would be nice. Yeah, can't count on it though. Got to make your own luck. But
I worry about people that pass the ball from midfield back to the keeper because I just sit there and say,
yeah,
quit doing the Paul Abdul theory.
Fair enough. I mean, and you know, and he's. And you don't expect it. I mean, Nikkei's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's a goalkeeper of the conference a couple times. He's got a lot of titles under his belt, you know, and he'll respond, which he did. He made a big save right after that. I can't expect it. But I think for us, it's just, you know, we've gotten a lot of our goals through pressing and not just through possession and build up and all the pretty stuff. And I think that's a gritty goal, and we're going to need more of those.
Speaking of the goals,
Yeah.
Luka 5 goals
Yeah.
in 5 games. I mean,
Yep.
Man, he's
Finding his way.
fun to watch, but
Yep.
it's like you said, everything kind of working together, and you know he's on the end of it. And, like when he gets it to his left foot, I mean, I've seen it now enough times to say that it's going to go into the back of the net.
Right.
What's it like to kind of see him doing his thing?
Yeah, we're really happy with him. We knew he was an exceptional talent coming in. It's always strikers that have a nose for goal. I think it's always about finding that precise spot in the goal and being comfortable with it, hitting it over and over. And it's hard to find that rhythm in the beginning of the season. You have to play games. You got to find the timing. New team, new environment, grass pitch. And so we just kept working on it, and we kept giving him the repetitions, and he's firing home. So just keep him going. I think it's fantastic. We've got a goal scorer. Obviously, we've got a netminder as well. So when you have 1 in 10 playing the way they are, and everyone else playing the way they are, then you're a tough team to beat. You're tough out. And Luka is just he's only going to get better. I think the only challenge for him now is he's been found out, right? So now you're the 10 that's scoring goals. Well, you're going to be game planned now. And so will other guys step up so the load is not just on him? I think that's key for us.
And is there a push on, any certain guys or just?
Yeah, for sure. I think Chun and Ian need to score some goals. Yeah. So I'm going to tell them to watch this press conference, and they've got the quality, and Ian's working his butt off at the 9 now, and I think we got some goals at it. We can get some goals out of midfield, but I'd love to see some goals from Chun and Ian this weekend to sort of take the pressure off Luka to be the only goal scorer for us.
And on the back burner, I got to bring it up because we talked about
Yeah.
Ale. Hopefully getting him
Mhm.
back here
Yeah,
sometime soon. You
yeah.
got to think too. He's a goal scorer. He has the
Yeah.
ability to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can get him back, Luka, Ale, get Tune and
Yeah.
Ian going. I mean,
And Davian, and Davian can find the net too. So there's some guys out there that can find the net, and we're going to need down the stretch some guys to come up with big moments like we had this weekend. That's what's going to break these tough games. I mean, if you look at the results from this weekend, Roosevelt beats St. Cloud with 2 minutes to go on a breakaway, and that could have been a tie. And then Saginaw just had tied it up against Parkside with 3 minutes to go, and then they concede on a late corner kick counterattack, and Parkside wins 2-1. So every single game in the GLIAC is up for grabs. Doesn't matter who's in first or last or in the middle. And so what's going to break those tough, close games? It's individual moments. If the team's playing well, you're defending, you're doing all your things, what's going to break that moment? It's going to be individual moments. And I think we got that this weekend, and we're going to need more of it.
how much is it of a boost to the guys that are, not in net when Asaf makes a save
yeah.
or comes up with a moment?
Yeah.
And then, the guys turn around, look, see it, it's saved. Okay, now we can get back
Yeah.
to our game plan.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, a goalkeeper at any level on any team that can be number one, a calming force in the back. Like, hey, if I mess up, at least we know, hey, we've got a guy that's going to make that save. I think it gives confidence to the back four and the midfielders to play freely, to play their way, because they know, hey, if I do make a mistake, we got a guy that can clean it up and is confident. So I think it's huge for us. And I've always said as well, his shot stopping and his ability to make saves are huge. But it's his leadership, his command, his motivation. I mean, he was Defensive Player of the Week, and he wants more. And his only thing is, okay, now we can still get better. That's his mentality. So I think that just gives a boost for everybody, staff, the whole team. So we just keep him going. I mean, he's been phenomenal. And like I said, I think he's going to continue to get better. He's out there training extra, doing all the things. And that's what you want out of your top players. If they're the ones that are working the hardest and everyone else has got to stay with the top players, then I think you got a good team, because no one's going to want to be left behind. So they're setting a good example, and Afsas doing the job right now for sure.
Something I noticed from watching
Yeah.
all 90 minutes of every game is your communication
Yeah.
from Azov, but everybody
Yeah.
through 1 through 11, 1 through 18. How good has that been, and how does it make you be more successful when you aren't communicating for 90 minutes on the field?
Yeah, it's one of our critical core values. We've got 11 core values on the team, and communication is one of the first ones, and it's been big. But to be fair, we've practiced it. There's a couple exercises out there that we get on the training field, and some guys don't really like it. It's boring. It's not the fun stuff. But we legitimately practice talking and communicating and using the right verbiage and being energetic. So I think it's a huge value, and I think the guys have bought into that and gotten better at it, because in the past we have been a quiet team, and I think it's really hurt us. So when you're defending how many crosses against both of these teams this weekend and 30-mile-an-hour winds, you have to be able to communicate. So I think that's a big part of our success. We've let in 7 goals in 10 games. We're 3 points out of first place. We're closer to first place than we are fifth place. So that's, I think, a huge part of it is because we're communicating and we're connected and we're fighting for each other. So they just got to keep that going. It's not going to get any easier, It's not going to get easier, but that's been a big part. So
You mentioned how every game in the GLIAC was up for grabs
Every
this
game.
past weekend, and
Yep.
probably will be this weekend.
Mhm.
Would you be prefaced to say that this conference is probably wide open for anybody?
wide open for anybody. Yeah, I mean, there's 4 teams that are within 3 points of first place. So there's 4 teams that could win it right now. I don't think you can say that about most leagues this late in the season. And we got 3 weeks to go, and there's not somebody that's clearly out in front. And there's 4 teams separated by 3 points. So it's totally up for grabs. Our guys know it. We're one game at a time, so we're not looking at a trophy. We're not looking at playoff seeding. We're not doing any of that. We're focused on Davenport, getting a result, and then we'll turn our attention to Saginaw. We know it's going to be a tough game, but I think it gives some motivation to know that it's still out there for us. Still out there for us. So we just got to finish the job. We're halfway through the GLIAC season. Nobody's looking at our wins yet. We're just focused on Davenport, and hopefully we can get a result on Friday.
Let's see, another good weekend. I mean, there should be smiles.
Yeah,
Not only yours, but everybody else's.
yeah. It's a great weekend, for sure.
And again, Maddie's getting the support that she needs that you can do those things.
Yeah, yeah, definitely the field, the rest of the crew is getting even closer to her, so that really makes a difference.
Was there anything about that meet? I don't want to say that surprised you, but in terms of quality of competition you were seeing, was that at the level you thought it would be?
Yeah, we were actually hoping there was one Wingate, who was ranked number 5 in the country. They didn't run their top. They ran one of their top group, but they didn't run the rest of them. But Catawba was ranked 19th, and they ran really well. So that was nice to have at least one strong team. Then there were some Division I teams also that didn't run their top groups. So, and a few that did, but they weren't as strong. So it was good competition, definitely Catawba it was close. And my whole team ran, PRs. It was a fast course. It was flat, gravel. So definitely, definitely different than a lot of the races we race on. But they went out hard. They stayed in it, and they pushed all the way to the end. So did exactly kind of what we talked about, and just kind of saw what we could do, and it was really impressive. To have 5 athletes under 18 minutes in a 5K cross country it's the best we've ever, even though it's a fast course, it's pretty impressive.
Did the course surprise you in any way? Was it even flatter than you thought it was going to be?
I knew it was going to be flat, but yeah, it was flat. And, they said some grass, but really the only grass was the start, the first 200 meters, and then you got onto a gravel path. So then the whole rest of the thing was a gravel path. So I thought there'd be a little more grass. And my athletes were kind of joking because there was one hill that was but maybe it was a 1 meter difference from, yeah. So, yeah, definitely a flat course.
Maybe you should host the meet at MIS next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, obviously, results are results, and this keeps you pushing forward.
Yeah, definitely really exciting. And then the great thing is that we really have 7 that are strong. If you look through the number 6, number 7, Lamar actually didn't. She ended up number 7 this time, and she's been kind of more number 4. So they kind of keep switching places. So the strength goes all the way through number 7, which is what you want in cross country. Because if one of your top 5 doesn't have a great day, that's really where you can lose it. And that's where I think we're stronger than a lot of the teams in the country, even that we have 5, we have 7. So we definitely have a solid 5, and 6 and 7 could take the place of any of those number 4, number 5. So that's exciting.
How soon's conference?
It's a week from this Saturday. So we're going up to Tech this weekend, but it's just going to be the group that's not racing at conference. And then after that, we'll go to conference. So the 25th.
Of course, it has to be on a Saturday with Tech Northern.
Yeah.
Michigan State Northern Hockey. Yada, 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 yada.
It's Colorado College this weekend.
Yeah.
What do you know about the conference course and kind of what will be the message to your team leading up to that or these are the things that we need to focus in on and be prepared for?
Yeah, it's being held at Calvin College. It's hosted by Davenport. But so I actually have never been on this course, but what I hear is it's not totally flat. It's not crazy hilly. It's kind of in between. It runs similar to Parkside, which is where we've ran already, and then where our regionals and nationals will be. So kind of, and then we know which teams are stronger. Right now we're sitting up in number 2, behind Grand Valley. So really, the goal will be to even see if we can, get up closer to Grand Valley, but then also, make sure we're ahead of those those other teams. But run like we've been running, get outsmart running. We've been running in packs, which has been huge. That front pack and then Maddie and then and now Ashley's been right up there too. And then the next pack and then the next pack back, and so we can run 12. So that's kind of the same group we took to the one at North Carolina. Running in the packs, but then also challenging themselves to see what they can do and get prepared for the regionals and then hopefully nationals.
Do you kind of go out leading into conference and scout the course? Like, maybe you would scout a team, but scout the course and maybe pick out points for their team to kind of have their own marks?
Yeah, for sure. So we'll go down Thursday night and then we'll get a chance Friday to, take a look at the course and really kind of examine it. And it is kind of some loops. And so that's the good thing is that you'll have more time to, check out more of it without, if it's one big 5K loop, you don't get, it takes a long time to get around. But yeah, it's loops. Just like this last one, it was actually 2 loops. So it was only a, mile and a half loop. We were able to go around it a bunch to check it out. So yeah, we definitely will check it out, and then I'll make some notes, and then we have a team meeting the night before, and then we look at all the kids on the other teams, how they're running, what they've been running, and we kind of focus on some different people that we go for.